This is the video you've been waiting for. Should you get the Moza KS steering wheel or the Fanatec McLaren V2 GT3 steering wheel? In my opinion, these are the two best steering wheels for this price point. Absolutely insane. Fanatec and Moza going head to head. In this video, I'm going to let you know the ins and outs of both these wheels because some of them may surprise you. Now, this is not a sponsored video. Neither Fanatec or McLaren or Moza have seen this video, but you need to know that Moza did give this wheel to me for free a few weeks ago. Fanatec didn't give, I bought this one with my own money. So just so you know, but this is a completely unbiased review. I do all my reviews like I bought them with my own money. Now we're going to start here with quality of materials, and there are a few things that immediately come off the bat. The first thing is the quick release. The quick release in the Moza feels way more solid. I'm a massive fan of the Moza quick release versus the Fanatec system here. The Fanatec quick release on the McLaren involves you screwing this plastic, and it's plastic on plastic. I have seen people who have snapped these pins in Fanatec. It's happened in our community. Over 3,000 sim racing in our Discord, it's happened. So the Fanatec McLaren quick release system is really showing its age. You need to screw it, unscrew it, get it on dead straight. You don't want to snap those pins. I haven't heard of anyone yet snapping the Moza pins, although it could happen, but it's a lot simpler. You just push it in and it just goes in, and this cover automatically goes over the top. And this is a metal construction as well. There's like metal bearings in here, so a lot more solid. Now, while we're on the bat, let's talk about triggers, because these have been a little bit controversial in the Fanatec wheel. I actually really like the Fanatec McLaren GT3 triggers. Really solid construction. You can see that I've worn the paint off. I've done so many shifts, but they move the other finger as well, which I kind of like because you know that you've registered it. You can go the other way if you want to for some weird reason. They're very boomy. They're very like noisy. It will wake your flatmates up if you're doing a 24-hour race, but I quite like them. But again, I'm going to have to give this one to the Moza. Much nicer triggers. You can just feel they're a bit snappier. They're a lot lighter. They're separated, so they're not going to have that thing where you shift down here and it pushes you up here. So it's another vote here, I think, for the Moza on triggers. Not quite as clear cut as the quick release. Right, moving around to the front now, and this is absolutely critical. If you're buying a GT3 rim, you want to have loads and loads of buttons on your rim to be able to do brake balance, traction control, ABS, all this kind of stuff. And this is closer, but for me, there's a winner, but it's a bit closer. So have a look here on the McLaren, which I got the wrong way around. You get the 3 rotaries here on the in the middle. You get exactly the same on the Moza. Get the 3 rotaries here. You get, I think, 4 buttons down the side. You can see 1, 2, 3, 4 on the McLaren. On the Moza, you get 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So pretty similar. You get this up and down red joystick, or whatever it is, toggle button on the Fanatec. These ones have always been a little bit weird and sort of out of place. I use them in like iRacing and stuff for changing car, changing camera angle. What you get instead on the Moza is you get an additional button, but you also get this encoder down the side. Really interesting, so you can be very precise about what TC you want, brake bias. So many options of, you know, modifying things here. You can move stuff back and forwards. You can have it preset settings, engine maps, anything you want. Now, I do like on the McLaren where you do get these big boomy neutral and pit speed buttons. Absolutely love these. You don't get anything as big and boomy on the Moza, but on the Moza you do get a better input system because these are actually joysticks. You can play Call of Duty on this. You've got 2 joysticks on this one, whereas on the Fanatec all you get is this funky switch, although the funky switch does rotate, and the one on the Moza doesn't rotate. So this one, I'm going to edge it for the Moza one. But it's very close, Now there is another area I want to talk about in the front, and that is the grips. The grips are massively important on the GT3 wheel. So important. As I've said before, this rim looks brand new from the front, and I've used this for over a year, like doing 24-hour races, everything in this thing. So the fact that the Fanatec rubbery rims have held up, I cannot not give the rubbery grips to the Fanatec. The Moza is basically yet to prove itself, so not sure it's done anything wrong yet, but I just know the Fanatec ones are so good. So come back to me in a year and I'll let you know how these ones are standing up. Now, if we look at the construction of the rim, Firstly, the Moza is a lot heavier. I think that might be due to the quick release, a lot of it. So the Fanatec McLaren's a bit lighter. That's interesting when it comes to stability. It's interesting when it comes to feeling the force feedback through the wheel. The materials on the front actually feel kind of similar. It's this sort of like faux material that you faux like carbon fiber, but it's plasticky. Interestingly, on the front of the McLaren, you have these bolts you can see. So potentially easier to do repairs, although I've had some horror stories of Fanatec repairs. You don't have any of that on the Moza, but you do have a bigger sort of plastic moulding from the front and the back here, so depends what your fancy is there. You do also get this light increase, so rev bar on the Moza that increases as you go up the rev, and that is completely, I think, customizable with colors. The other thing I want to mention about the front base, these lights on the Moza light up in customizable colors. That is pretty cool. That is pretty cool. So we've given the front base for the Moza there just about. The grips on the McLaren Fanatec are so good. What about price? Well, on price, this is going to be a win for the Fanatec McLaren, and the Fanatec McLaren rim just still cannot be beaten on price. 199 euros for the Fanatec McLaren rim. This is still the best value GT3 rim you can get. The Moza rim, as we've gone through, I do believe is better quality. I do believe is just generally better. You get more inputs, you get more customizability, the quick release is better, the triggers are better, but you are paying more money. This is £279 or $279. So it's about £80 or dollars more than the Fanatec. Is it worth it? Which is ultimately the better rim in taking everything into account? This is cheaper than Fanatec McLaren, the Moza is better. I've got to go for the Moza. If you're spending this sort of budget range, if you consider them both in the same budget, the quick release here, the fact that the Moza ecosystem is really growing with stuff like the SRP pedals, the FSR rim, you've got the Moza R9, you've got the Moza, go the way it goes to the Moza R21, the Moza R5 is really competitively priced. I feel like this is an incredibly solid wheel. It's better than the Fanatec McLaren GT3 in lots of ways for a little bit more money. So it's now, if you were thinking about not going in the Moza ecosystem because they didn't have a GT3 rim, well now they do. So what do Fanatec do in response? Do they up the quality? Do they do a V3 of the McLaren, make it a nicer construction, have a solid QR, maybe do some nicer triggers, maybe get some coloured buttons on here? Do they do that as opposed, you know, to bring the fight to Moza? I don't know. Let me know in the comments which one you would get, the Moza or the Fanatec. Absolutely insane though to see this competition. Hopefully we're going to see prices fall. Hopefully we're going to see more innovation. Great to see in the sim racing space. Moza versus Fanatec. From this one in particular, I'm going to have to give this one to the Moza. I'll see you next time.